Hey, what's up guys and welcome to Tennis channel. So far, I have tried over 50 tennis rackets already in the past year since I opened this channel. And today I'm going to review my top 5 rackets that I really consider switching to. And I actually spent a good amount of time with each one of them. A little bit of a background, my current racket is the Wilson Blade 98 16 by 19 night session limited edition. I have been using this for probably a year or so. Before that, I was using a Pro Staff 97L, this one, customized. And the reason that I changed to the blade is basically because I have a better serve with it and it's a bit easier to hit a two-handed backhand with. Here are the list of the contenders. We have 5 rackets. We got Pure Aero 98, we got the Ezone 98, the Whiteout 1820, the Tfight ISO 315, and lastly the Head Speed MP. You can see that most of them are control-oriented rackets though. And in this video, you will find out what I like about each one of them. Why do I consider switching from this Blade 98, and what are the deal breakers on each one of them. I will tell you the racket that makes to the final in the end of the video, so bear with me. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Okay, first of all, I gotta say I love this racket so much. I play really well with it. I can hit with pace and generate such heavy balls. It has pinpoint control and it's very maneuverable and fast at the net. Serve is great, so the racket that I consider switching to gotta be very good so that it can beat this one. Otherwise, I will stick with it. Okay, the problem I got on the blade, basically there are 2 things in particular. First is regarded to the spin and launch angle. I think the spin is below average compared to like other 98 square inch with 16-19 string pattern, and the launch angle on natural ground strokes are quite low. I think the blade is more of a racket for aggressive baseliner who hit flat, so it may not be perfect for my top spin through the court game style. And the second thing is the pop. I think the sweet spot is quite small and it's not easy to pop. You need to be precise and swing fast enough. So the problem is my backhand always feel underpowered compared to my forehand, and I often hit off center. So it becomes my weaknesses in the game, and I usually couldn't turn it around when getting attacked on that wing. So these 2 things are the main reason that I consider looking for other rackets that can solve these issues. And I would say from my experience so far, there are no perfect rackets because I have tried probably the majority of current tennis rackets in the market, and even though some of them can do better on these 2 things, new issue always arises. Do you know that Tennis is now on Instagram and on Facebook? If you don't, please go follow me. You will get an update on the rackets that I came across on a daily basis and the content that I don't post on YouTube. Okay, the first contender for today, Babolat Pure Aero 98. If you're a fan of my channel, you could recall that the Pure Aero 2023 line, both 100 and 98, are the only things that I like from Babolat. And this Aero 98 is the first Babolat racket that I actually own. I got it from secondhand market recently and I like it. To label this racket, it's a spin control frame. It has decent amount of power, easier power to access than the blade. This racket can solve the issues I have with the blade, probably 80%. I can hit with higher angle on my forehand and get more spin. As you can see on the video, the ball seems to be more loopy and projectile. And on the backhand, it's easier to pop, and I can hit with top spin backhand as well. This racket is really spin friendly, so I would say it pretty goes in the right direction. However, there are a couple things that holding me off. First is the comfort. Although it's probably the softest one in Babolat lineup with 65 stiffness, I think it's still really firm and it's string sensitive. When I bought it, it came with RPM blast and it's really not comfortable. The string looks new, but yeah, RPM blast die pretty quick, so I changed to this Hyper G soft. Anyway, there are times that it gives me discomfort on my left wrist when hitting backhand. Other than that, I would say control is not as good as the blade, obviously, and it often gives me the feel of hitting out, but the ball actually land. It confuses me a bit. Other than that, I would say I don't like backhand slice on this racket, and the ball placement on the serve is just average. Let's move on to the Yonex Ezone 98, where this racket is my favorite one from Yonex so far. It's a power control frame. The Ezone 98 is a very well balanced racket in terms of power, spin, control, everything basically. Okay, what I like about the Ezone 98 first is the easy access to power and spin. Like it helps me a lot on that. I don't need much effort to play with compared to the Blade 98. The racket is also forgiving. Sweet spot is larger than the Blade and Pure Aero 98. So it's easier to use, especially for my backhand. Spin is also really good. I even think it has more spin than the V-Core, unpopular opinion though. And the launch angle is medium, but the consistency on the launch angle is very high. It's like the ball kind of goes like this on almost every shot, so I like it. The serve is as powerful as the blade, but takes less input. And I can go with more spin on second serve, and backhand slice is really good and reliable, as well as other touch shots. The things I don't like though, first is the comfort. I think it's a bit better than the Pure Aero 98, but I still feel discomfort sometimes. Not very often though. But yeah, if you know it's risky, it's better to stay away, right? Second of all, I don't feel the penetration on the court. Although it gives me easy access to power, the ball is not as heavy as on the blade because swing weight is way lower. But I try adding lead to increase the swing weight, but I don't like it. I prefer the E-zone to stay light and whippy. So lastly, it's the maneuverability. Actually, I have this issue on the Pure Aero as well because the beam is thick. I feel like it's sluggish on my take back. Probably it takes a millisecond longer than normal, and it kind of feels weird. Let's move on to the Solinco Whiteout 1820, where I gotta say that the first time I tried this racket a couple months ago, I didn't expect anything good because I tried the Whiteout 1619 before and I don't like it. But this one is different. It has a more solid feel and softer than the 1619 for some reason. This is one of my favorite rackets so far. It's a jack of all trades, can do great on almost everything. Another well-balanced racket, but more control-oriented than the Ezone 98. I think it can do like 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 on every aspect. You don't have to believe me, but you should try it yourself. The racket is firm and a bit string sensitive, but not as bad as the Pure Aero or the Ezone. But still have to be aware of that. So far, I don't have any discomfort, but I believe it can be hard for some people. What I like about this racket, well, a lot of things. It's easy to hit with for this type of racket, easy power, and the spin is surprisingly good despite having an 1820 string pattern. The launch angle is not that much different from the blade, but I can get more top spin on my forehand. When I use this racket, I feel like I can dictate the point from the extra power and spin and the extra depth that I get. And I don't really have to worry about the control that much because it's very consistent and reliable. Also, it's really easy to hit two-handed backhand with. On the serve it was okay, nothing to complain. Net game is average. There are two things that I don't like though. First is it's not as fast and maneuverable as a blade, but it doesn't feel sluggish like the first two contenders, so I'm pretty okay with that. Second, this is the main issue that sets me off. I feel like the string tension on this racket drops faster than normal. This happens to me 2 times already on the Tour by Soft and the Hyper-G Soft. It lasts only like 5 hours, and after that I start losing control and playability. I spray the ball out very often. So I'm not sure if it's a stringer fault or it's a racket, so still have to monitor going forward. If your face is sensitive and got irritated by the towel easily, try this face towels from Simple Things. It's made from bamboo and it's really soft and friendly for your skin. The link is in the description. Global shipping provided. Next is the Tecnifibre Tfight ISO 315. I have to admit that among these 5 contenders, I like this racket the most, hands down. And compared to other 315 gram rackets, this is my favorite one. I almost switched to it, to be honest, because I really play a good game with this one. I think it's a perfect racket for me. A couple months ago that I'm still fit and play probably 6 to 8 hours a week, but now I only play like 2 hours a week and it becomes a problem, mainly because of the weight that I cannot handle. The Tfight 315 is a solid but dampened racket. Although the stiffness say 69, it actually feels a lot lower. I think it's even softer than the pure Aero and the Ezone and the Whiteout as well. I have been using this racket for months and never had any discomfort so far. The Tfight is the most consistent racket that I have ever played with. The launch angle is higher than the blade and the spin probably just a bit more. The ground strokes is really consistent, like I can rarely make an errors. It's more forgiving than the blade and backhand is easy to generate power as well. So everything seems to match with what I want except for the static weight that is too much for me and I cannot play with it more than like an hour because I will begin being late to the ball. So things I don't like, well, first is obviously the weight. I don't know why they make the 305 gram with so high swing weight and the 315 gram with so low swing weight. I just hope that they make a 305 with more playable swing weight. And I will switch to that one for sure. I also tried the 300 gram, but I don't like it as much as this one. And second, I think it doesn't generate such heavy ball. I feel like my opponent can get to the ball more often than when hitting with the blade. The last one is Head Speed MP. This is probably the least control rated among 5 contenders in this video. This racket is a control tweener frame, and you would probably ask why I include this racket at all. Well, I think it feels good to play with an easy racket from time to time, and I play pretty well with it, and control is not bad. What I like about this racket, well, I think it's also a jack of all trades like the Whiteout, but it scores lower on almost every category except for power. It has a better than average spin, and the power is the best among 5 contenders. I mean, obviously this one is 100 square inches with open string pattern, so it's the way it is. The launch angle is medium, higher than the blade, so box checked. What I don't like about this racket, I think the string bed is kinda unpredictable sometimes. Like I can spray the ball out from time to time for some reasons, even though I feel like I did everything right. So that's a bit frustrating. Another thing is the serve is just average and I couldn't get a strong first service out of this racket. Also, despite being 100 square inch, I still feel a bit underpowered on my backhand side. So overall, it's a no for me. Okay, so among the 5 contenders, I decided to pick this Solinco Whiteout 1820 to be a finalist to compete with my Blade 98. But I will still have to test something about the tension maintenance, if it really because of the racket or it's just a stringer fault. So stay tuned, I will let you guys know in the future video when I finally decide if this Whiteout really beat the Blade 98. I will also get my Speed Pro to play test very soon. I think I will like it, but to be honest, I want to keep the static weight under 305 gram, so the Speed Pro is a bit off limit. We'll see if I'm okay with that. Probably we'll add it as a contender in the next episode. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.